each one of us, there is a dream. The challenge is how to achieve it. This journey will take inspiration, constant motivation, proper supervision, and strong connections. At Camel Park Training College, we know what makes your dreams come true. Now, all we need to begin in this journey is you. Enroll today in a variety of courses. Choose Camel Park Training College.
Steer your future in the right direction. Safe driving starts here. Camel Park Driving School, now ready to quench your driving thirst. We offer NTSA certified driving lessons for upgrading, beginners, and refreshers. Our team of qualified instructors deliver content for the following classes: A1, A2, B1, B2, C, C1 and C2, D1 and the rest. We train learners with modern vehicles which fit the evolving digital world. Why choose Camel Park Driving School? We are situated within a serene environment which offers a humble space of study. Our classes are fitted with advanced materials which supports learning. Other benefits are flexible class schedule, pocket-friendly fees, proper theory and practical guide, annual operation and additional computer packages training. Spend less, learn more. Drive forever. Apply now. For more information, call us on or SMS us on 0755 386 594 or 0753 915 354, or you can email us on camelcollege@gmail.com, or also you can visit our offices at Kiogoro, which is 5 kilometers from Kisii town along Kisii-Kilgoris Road. Camel Park Driving School, shaping dreams on the wheels.
A very good morning, our viewer, wherever you are watching us from. It is Wednesday, that is the 25th of February 2026, and of course we are coming live from our main studios, that is, and of course the morning bus, of course the morning program, that is the morning bus here at Ndizi TV Africa, and welcoming you to our preview and of course the newspaper review this morning, and then later on we'll be having a look at the trending stories and of course what you need to know about the opposition, united opposition, or they call it united alternative government. They were having their trip or their tour of 3 days in Gusiland, and of course that is coming to an end today on Wednesday 25th, and of course the route they will be taking today is they will be starting from Ogembo, Kenyenya, of course towards Masimba and other areas that they might be stopping today as they are on touring Gusii. And of course they were welcomed by the deputy party leader of Jubilee Party, that is Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, and they are on with their tour in Gusiland. And of course these principals who are present is Eugene Wamalwa, there is Kalonzo Musyoka, DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, And of course, Peter Munya, among other leaders who were joining Fred Okengo Matiang'i on their 3-day tour. And of course, as I have mentioned, that the 3-day tour is coming to an end today. And we are informing you on what has been going on. And of course, yesterday they had a presser in Gusii land, and of course in one of the hotels in Gusii, and as they mentioned some of the few issues that they are wanted to deal with, and of course criticizing the current president or the current regime for not adhering to the promises that they had promised the common mwananchi, thus thumbing that they are now counting only days for them to get out of office, and of course they will be taking over the government. I don't know what's your take on this, and of course be following us on our social media platforms, that is Ndizi TV Africa, on our Facebook page and on our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course you can people to be talking to us through our SMS number, that is 21575, concerning what's your take on the 3-day tour of the united opposition in Gusii land. Do you think that they will manage to clinch to the power, or as per the sayings and of course the critics they are giving the government? And of course, before we get into that, we'll be having a look at the newspaper this morning, and the normally we start from the Standard newspaper, and then we'll be able to look at the Daily Nation, People's Daily, The Star, Taifa Leo, and of course Business Daily. My name is Jeff Nyakundi, my director is Lucas Oma. Let's have a close look at what has been happening and of course what has been trending over the week, and of course on the newspapers today. And when we start from the Standard newspaper, the question is, whose goons? How wahuni ni wanani? Youth Networks Interior PS Raymond Omolo is cast as a polished technocrat with a philanthropic touch, but in Nyanza, a darker narrative is taking hold as the rival camps prepare for bruising political battle ahead of the general elections. Allegations are mounting that the state-based empowerment networks have morphed into the engines of intimidation, with goons shadowing rallies, that is disrupting meetings and operating in full glare that is of the police. Supporters hail decisive leadership. Critics see dangerous fusion of power, patronage, and of course fear that they could tip a volatile recon on into chaos. That is a story published on page 6 and of course page 7, where they are asking whose goons. Remember, previously, there was a meeting planned by the faction of ODM party, that is Edwin Sifuna, Babu Wino, James Orengo, Godfrey Ososi, and other leaders that were having a meeting in Kakamega, that is a Malemba field, where they termed that the faction of ODM, that is Edwin Sifuna, they were supposed to land in Kisumu airport, and minutes after they realized that, of course, they had some goons who were already been grouped to attack them, then they changed the place they were to land, then proceed to Malemba in Kakamega. And of course, some of the young men, they're saying that they were, and of course we saw Babu Wino in one of the TV stations having a conversation or an interview, then mentioned that there is an SMS that was sent from one of the goons that were being hired, that and what they were being told to do exactly. And now Raymond Omolo, I say that he is not involved in that, and the question is, whose goons were this? That is the pictures that we are seeing, some of the youths who have been failed to either disrupt or support some of the group or the political meetings here and there. And of course the question is, as much as Raymond Omolo is being seen to be a technocrat and with a philanthropic touch, in the backyard of Nyanza, there is a dark narrative that is taking hold. So the rival camps as they prepare for cruising over the political battles as of the general elections, that is 2027. And this is a story published on page 6 and of course page 7 of the Standard newspaper. Let's have a look at the Daily Nation, and of course on the Daily Nation there is a lot that has been published here. They say that the Russian mercenary, the most wanted Kenyan authorities have issued a stop order against the suspect, but he is already in Russia. Over 1,000 number of Kenyans fighting for Russia in Ukraine, according to the NI's dossier, and of course the payout that they were promised was Kenyans are ready to join the Russian military with the signing bonus of 1.2 million, but some have paid with their lives. Of course, some of them have died. Then we have Mikhail Lyapin, is a Russian national and Arasa's friend, deported last year on suspicion of running a rogue jobs syndicate. And of course, what we are seeing here, the photo actually of the person we are seeing here is Mikhail Lyapin, and on the other side is Arasa, who is a friend to Lyapin, and of course they were deported last year for the suspicion of running rogue job syndicate. And on the other side, where we are seeing this other, of course, is that the unmasked Festus Arasa Mwamba has teetered between notoriety and anonymity. He has engineered the ouster of a senator, battled fraud charges, and is now wanted for sending Kenyans to fight for Russia. That is a story published on page 2. And of course, he's linked to be, fighting a senator, one of the senators who was also kicked out of office. That is Senator Oroba, and they are saying that he is also linked to be sending Kenyans to fight in Russia. That is a story published into more details on page 2 of the Daily Nation. And of course, refilled top 10 counties for job creation. Before we wait there, actually, let's have a look at the Sifuna open to alliance with the United Opposition. If we look at this is a story published on page 4, talking about the Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has said that his ODM faction will explore a coalition with like-minded leaders to craft a formidable machine against President William Samoei Ruto's re-election. The ODM Secretary General assured his group will not divide the opposition bloc. That is a story published on page 4. And here Edwin Sifuna, I quote what he said: "I want to assure everyone who believes our country cannot withstand another 5 years term of William Ruto that we will not be the problem." That is Edwin Sifuna, and of course saying that the like-minded leaders will be having a conversation and of course agree on whom they are going to be joining hands with to ensure that they kick out President William Samoei Ruto out of office. And that's a story published on page 4 of the Daily Nation. Elsewhere, talking about counties and of course the creation of jobs, it has been revealed that top 10 counties in job creation. That's a story which is published on page 7. Starting from Meru County, it has done up to 80.3% in creation of jobs. And of course, Murang'a County, it is at 19.3%. Of course, Machakos is at 80%. Lamu 79.9%. We having Kwale at 78.9%, Nairobi at 80.3%, Kiambu 83.9%, Nakuru 87.3%, and of course Elgeyo Kisumu at 81.2%, Elgeyo Marakwet at 79%. Talking about the creation of jobs in our counties and what is going on, that is what has been revealed, that has been done in some of of the counties. And if you want to know more about maybe your county, the Kisii, Nyamira, Homa Bay, Migori, you can have to grab the Daily Nation newspaper and have a look at page 7 of this daily newspaper, and of course know exactly what is going on. And of course on page 8, they're talking about Grabber's target. Grabber's target here, they're saying that it is a new report that has been emerged that land around state houses and lodges has been grabbed by unknown parties, showing slowing renovation. According to the State House Controller, that is Comptroller Kato Olemetito, recovery is underway. That's a story published on page 8 of the daily newspaper. And on the other end is that on page 10, the Teacher Service Commission protests to Koome over cases on hiring of chief executive. That is issues talking about education. And of course here now the Teacher Service Commission, they are protesting to the Chief Justice Martha Koome over cases on hiring of a chief executive officer to the education, that is to the Teacher Service Commission. Remember, the one who was there just retired, and his time or her time of retirement came, and of course she retired peacefully, and now they are waiting to see who is going to take over. And of course now they are protesting to the Cabinet Secretary, that is the Chief Justice, over the issues of cases that are in court, more so of the hiring of the Chief Executive Officer or the CEO of a Teacher Service Commission. And there's a story published on page 10. Elsewhere, it's some of the adverts here and there. We can have a look at what is on this newspaper, again actually on the People's Daily. When we look at, actually, first of all, have a look at the Star newspaper. And of course here, the Star newspaper is all about talking about Bomas revamp turns center to Premier Summit Tourism Hub. A story published on page 2 saying that situated on 79 acres, it will host 11,000 delegates at a go, boost tourism. And of course the revamping of the Bomas of Kenya is now seen as something which is interesting, or of course which is boosting tourism in the country. And of course the building is sitting on a 79-acre land, and that's a story published on page 2 on how now Bomas revamp has turned the center to Premier Summit, a tourism hub. A story published on page 2 of the Star newspaper. On bottom of this newspaper is that Murang'a, Nakuru, Kiambu lead counties in jobs and digital service ranking. Talking about if you want to know how your county has been creating jobs, and now the ones which are reading here is Kiambu County, where the governor leading Kiambu County is Kimani Wamatangi. Nakuru County led by Susan Kihika, and Murang'a County. These are the counties that have been seen to lead in jobs and digital service ranking. That's a story published on page 8 of the Star newspaper. Elsewhere on page 5, balance and an inclusion pipe dream as ethnic persons exposed in new PSC report. As per the PSC report that was given out, showing that how the ethnic groups in the country have been given jobs in the government, and of course that show that balance and inclusion pipe dream as ethnic persons exposed in the new PSC report. That's a story published on page 5 of actually on page 6 of the Star newspaper. On top of this newspaper, they're talking about the play for me, mom, last words of a Kenyan son from Russia frontline. Of course, on top of this newspaper, talking about the stories that sometimes hurt people, and the Ukraine war, and they said that almost 1,000 of Kenyan men who were once serving as either police officers, KDF, or who were taken there to be in front line of fighting against the fight against Russia and Ukraine, saying that there is this one a man who talked to the parents and said that pray for me, or pray for the parents or the mom, her mom to pray for him. Last words of a Kenyan son from Russian frontline, and that is a story published on page 3 of the Star newspaper. Elsewhere, talking about Sifuna's signal grand alliance with Rigathi Kalonzo to Pete Ruto. That is a story published on page 4 and of course page 5, the signals, and this is also what we saw on the Daily Nation, talking about that Sifuna is now ready to have an alliance, or to create an alliance with the like-minded people. So their aim is to ensure that they are joining hands to ensure that the current regime is out of office when it comes to the 2027 general elections. And those are some of the stories in the Star newspaper. Let's have a close look at the People's Daily. And the People's Daily, there is some cartoonists there, and of course the cartoon that are drawn there we can be able to see on the People's Daily is that there is 2 cups, and these 2 cups, there are some cartoons drawn and soaked into those cups, and there's somebody who's squeezing the mango. And the question is, and of course when you look at it, when you look at that picture, it paints, or it shows them people that we can say that ni hao wamechorwa pale, as the Orange Party ran out of political juice. A story published on page 4, and when you see there is a hand actually squeezing the mango, or the orange, not the mango, the orange, and of course the 2 cups there. We are seeing some pieces of orange just beside the cups, and one we are seeing that the juice is getting into one cup, that we are seeing that the facial of Edwin Sifuna, and another one we are seeing a facial of Oburu Odinga, who is the party leader of ODM, and of course the other faction led by Edwin Sifuna, who is the Secretary General of the party. And the question is, as they have asked, is, as the Orange Party ran out of political juice? A story published on page 4. You can be able to grab this newspaper and have a close look at it. You know, sometimes looking at what is going on in the country, mambo ni magumu kidogo kwa kisiasa. Na pale kwingine ukurasa wa 13, they're saying that County Watch, why Mombasa is still waiting for its ship to dock. Why Mombasa is still waiting for its ship to dock. That's a story published on page 13 on the this is on the People's Daily. On top of this newspaper, they're saying that page 3, inside the intense power struggle among Igusi leaders. What has been seen when the united opposition led by Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i touring the region, and of course here they are talking about the intense power struggle among the Gusii leaders. Remember what happened on Monday? That is when the Gusii Council of Elders installed the former Cabinet Secretary of Interior, of Dr. Fred Matiang'i, to be the spokesperson of the Omogusi community, and of course to be their leader. And this is something that was done in Ekerenyo during their first day tour. And here they have explained more about what has been happening in Gusii Mwaso when it comes to leadership rankles. Let's also have a look at Taifa Leo, and of course Taifa Leo, taarifa ni za kisiasa zimechapishwa pale, ni kwamba lengo ni one term. Lengo ni one term. Seneta wa Nairobi adokeza uwezekano wa kushirikiana na muungano wa upinzani kuelekea kura za mwaka 2027. Sifuna mwenyewe anasema pale kwamba tunahitaji kuonyesha kwa nguvu kwamba hatutavumilia utawala wa William Ruto na yote anayoyasimamia ni Senator Edwin Sifuna. Pale amenukuliwa vile ambavyo alikuwa amezungumza pale kwa kwamba katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM Edwin Sifuna amefichua kuwa wakati wake ndani ya chama hicho kikubwa cha upinzani unakaribia kuisha, huku akieleza uwezekano wa kujiunga na muungano wa upinzani. Kauli hiyo inaashiria kuwa mjadala wa one term unaoendelezwa na vuguvugu la Linda Mwananchi na muungano wa upinzani umepangwa kufanikisha azma ya kumshinda Rais William Samoei Ruto katika uchaguzi mkuu ujao wa mwaka 2022. Taarifa kamili zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa pili katika gazeti hili la Taifa Leo, ikiwa kwamba pale amedokeza huenda akakiama chama hicho cha ODM rasmi na kuungana na baadhi ya viongozi wa upinzani akiwemo Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, Eugene Wamalwa of DAP-K, DCP party leader Yure Rigathi Gachagua, hata katika chama kile cha Jubilee, chama vyama ambavyo vinaonekana kwamba vipo upinzani. Na kila ambacho ametaja tunahitaji kuonyesha kuwa kwa nguvu kwamba hatutavumilia utawala wa William Samoei Ruto na yale yote ambayo anayasimamia. Ni kiongozi ama ni katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, Edwin Sifuna, ambaye pia ni seneta wa kaunti ya Nairobi. Na vidokezo zaidi ni kwamba tukiangazia pale ni kwamba vidokezo zaidi, Murang'a Nakuru juu kwa ajira. Ripoti ya Kenya Vision 2030 yasema kaunti 5 zinaongoza kwa kuboresha huduma zao, taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa 4. Na kwingine katika ukurasa wa 5, baada ya ukame kuna hofu ya mafuriko. Kaunti ya Tana River yataka maandalizi ya mapema kuepuka athari za mafuriko. Kaunti zile ambazo zimekuwa zikilia katika ukosefu wa maji sasa tena zinatazamia kupatwa na mafuriko ama kuwa na hofu ya mafuriko kuvamia maeneo hayo, kwa kwamba kuna mvua inayotarajiwa kunyesha maeneo yote humu nchini, taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa 5. Na kwingineko ukurasa wa 8 ni kwamba Rais Kiir afuta tena waziri wa fedha. Rais wa Sudan Kusini Salva Kiir amtimua waziri wa fedha Balk Chor kwenye mabadiliko ya mawaziri wake, kwa kwamba katika serikali ya Sudan Kusini ama South Sudan, rais wa nchi hiyo amefanya mabadiliko makubwa katika serikali yake, haswa katika wizara zake mbalimbali, na amemuondoa katika wadhifa wake yule waziri wa fedha Balk Chor, na katika mabadiliko ambayo aliyafanya. Ni taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa 8. Na upande wa juu katika gazeti hili la Taifa Leo ni taarifa ambazo zinaangazia jamaa yule ambaye anajulikana kama Arasa, ambaye anahusishwa na kuwapeleka wa Kenya nchini Russia kupigana. Mamluki wa Russia sasa aanikwa. Festus Arasa mwenye umri wa miaka 33 adaiwa kupeleka wa Kenya vitani Ukraine, taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa 16 katika gazeti hili la Taifa Leo, pale wakisema kwamba ni mamluki wa Russia sasa ameanikwa bariwanja kwa kila ambacho anataja kwamba huyu ni Festus Arasa mwenye umri wa miaka 33 na kila ambacho anadaiwa kuwapeleka wa Kenya vitani Ukraine. Ukipata gazeti hili la Taifa Leo basi utakuwa unaangazia mingi kuhusiana na kile ambacho jamaa huyu bwana Arasa mwenye umri wa miaka 33 ni kipi kile ambacho amekuwa kikifanya kufanikisha wa Kenya kuenda kupigana vita nchini Russia, na tunadhani kwamba uchunguzi unaendelezwa na bila shaka atakuwa anachukuliwa hatua za kisheria. Kwingineko ukurasa wa 13 hadi ukurasa wa 17, akili mali, tukiangazia ni ufugaji pale, kusema kwamba kilichomvutia kwa ufugaji mbuzi wa maziwa. Huyu ni mbuzi wa maziwa ndiyo kinasa risiki. Paul Maina asema ufugaji mbuzi hauna kazi nyingi kama ng'ombe wa maziwa, taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa ukurasa wa 13 hadi ukurasa wa 17, ukiangazia kwamba akili mali, na huyu utapata historia ama taarifa ambayo imechapishwa kuhusiana na huyo Paul Maina ambaye ni mfugaji wa mbuzi. Tukisonga mbele tuangazie gazeti letu la mwisho kabisa, gazeti la The People's Daily. Na The People's Daily pale wanasema kwamba Uganda gets gets veto power over hiring of KPC boss. Kampala gets juicy deals in revised shareholder pact, and of course Uganda had threatened to pull out of 106 billion shillings IPO. They're saying that Kenya has given Uganda the right to that is the right to veto future hiring and firing of the Kenyan Pipeline Company, KPC CEO, as part of an agreement reached last week for Kampala to buy 20 billion stake and save the farm initial public offering, the IPO. Kampala will also approve future issuance of fresh shares in KPC in a move aimed to prevent the dilution of its ownership in the company. That is, Kenya gave the concession, including 2 board seats in the farm, after the neighboring country threatened to walk away from the KBC IPO because of lack of authority in the running of the farm. And of course, that is what we have been seeing. And the picture that we are seeing there from left, there is FIDA Investment Bank lead transaction advisor, Belgrade Kene, Kenya Pipeline Company, KBC Managing Director, Joe Sang, and of course, Public Investment and Portfolio Management Director General Lawrence Kibet during a media roundtable for the KBC IPO in Nairobi on January 20. That's on January 20th. And of course, talking about what our neighboring country, they have got, that they do not having powers to run the Kenya Pipeline Company. To some extent, even they can be able to be hiring and firing the CEO as part of the agreement that was reached last week when they signed a 20 billion stake and save, that is over the IPO, and of course what we see in initial public offering. Elsewhere, talking about transport, is that NTSA adds 1,000 traffic cameras amid instant fine push. Talking about the road safety, that is more than 1,000 new smart cameras are to go live on Kenyan roads to catch drivers performing illegal that is maneuvers under the private-public partnership aimed at curbing speeding and of course easy execution of instant fines. The network will comprise of 700 fixed cameras to be mounted at strategic locations along major highways and high-risk corridors, and 300 mobile units targeting speeding hotspots and accident-prone zones. The cameras will detect the traffic offences and automatically relay the breach to the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, which will link the violation with the driver's profile under the smart driving licenses. And of course, NTSA yesterday said that the cameras form part of the transport modernization program that is that includes smart driving license and that is an intended instant fine system, and of course mobile digital license wallet, which are for prompting or payment of the penalties. And of course, talking about ensuring that there is road safety, and of course ensuring that there will be less accidents, and of course modernizing our transport sector in the country. And that is a story published on page 2. Let's have a look at the ticker side. And of course, the ticker side here today, they're talking about Kampala Dal beat Nairobi on prime office rent yield. That is talking about the Nairobi. Registered a lower yield on prime office rent compared to its regional peers, Kampala and Dar es Salaam, in the second half of 2025. New data shows. That a story published on page 4. Elsewhere is that pressure on Mombasa port as Uganda eyes SGR link to Tanzania. The Mombasa port faces fresh threats of competition in the wake of plans by Uganda to link its new railway line to Tanzania, providing direct access to the rival port of Dar es Salaam. That's a story published on page 5. Elsewhere, investors tap 28.6% against from 2024 infrastructure bond. That is a story published on page 14, saying that investors holding a 8.5 years infrastructure bond, IFP, are enjoying the capital gains of more than 28.6% from the sale of the papers on the Nairobi Security Exchange, NSE, riding on a sharp demand for high interest rate securities and amid falling returns on new insurances. That is a story published on page 14. On top of the Business Daily newspaper, they're talking about the intelligence. That's a story by Nderitu Murithi on page 9. Politicians use emotions to go around analytical thinking and trigger fast instinctive processing by voters. And that is where they are clever in doing their way. And of course, that's a story you can be reading on page 9 of the Business Daily. On the market, the data, we are seeing that the Nairobi Security Exchange 20 index, that is there is a decline that is of 0.87%, and of course talking about the Kenyan shilling and of course the USD dollar is that they're selling and buying at 129.02. That was on Monday and on Tuesday, and it is remaining constant that way, and the exchange rate here it's 0.00%. Elsewhere, wealthy Kenyans hire KQ Boeing jet for wedding parties in the sky. That is talking about life. Wealthy Kenyans hire KQ Boeing jets for wedding parties in the sky. That is a story you can be able to have a look at on page 19 on the wealthy Kenyans that now they can only hire the KQ Boeing jets, and for a wedding on air, that is on the skies, and of course partying on the skies. Those are some of the stories that are here today, and of course we have had a look at the Standard newspaper talking about who's goons, and of course the story linked with the PS Interior Lemon Domolo. On the Daily Nation we saw the Russian mercenary, and of course these manifestors Arasa Omwamba, who is 33 years old, linked to be recruiting Kenyans to go and fight in Russia. And of course Sifuna open to alliance with the United Opposition. That's what we saw. And of course on the same paper we saw the top 10 counties in job creation that we saw there, and of course grabbers target State House land. And this is some of the stories we saw there. On the People's Daily, we show that the question that has the Orange Party run out of the political juice, and of course they are featuring Oburu Oginga and of course Edwin Sifuna. And then in a picture that we were seeing that there's somebody who is squeezing that orange. And of course on the Star we saw Bomas revamp turn center to Premier Summit Tourism Hub. What is expected, and of course will be hosting over 11,000 delegates, and of course Bomas of Kenya now sitting on 79 acres of land. And then on Taifa Leo we saw lengo ni one term, Edwin Sifuna kujiunga na upinzani ama wakati wake katika chama cha ODM unakaribia kufika mwisho, na basi huenda akajiunga na wapinzani wengine kuhakikisha kwamba they are ensuring that they are taking the current president home come 2027 general elections. And those are some of the stories. We are taking a quick break here at Ndizi TV Africa, and of course in the morning bus after a short break we'll be getting back and of course having a look at the trending stories. Later on, I will be leaving you with the statements that the principals of United Opposition made during their presser at Camel Park Hotel yesterday morning. That is when I will be having a roundup or a wrap-up of the program. I will be leaving you with the statement that they made yesterday, and of course you can be able to listen to what these leaders spoke, each one of them, for those who managed to speak, including Eugene Wamalwa, Kalonzo Musyoka, Peter Munya, and of course Rigathi Gachagua. But we are taking a quick break. For those following, you can be able to follow us on our social media, that is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and of course X as Ndizi TV Africa. And of course you can be able to leave your comments there. You can be able to read afterwards, and of course talk to us via our SMS number, that is 21575. After the short break, I'll be back with the trending stories from Ndizi TV Africa. I'm Jeff Nyakundi. Don't go too far. I'll be back.
Je, wewe ni mmiliki wa aina ya gari aina ya Alto, Probox, Harrier, V8 na Lexus? Jipatie brake pads kwa bei nafuu hivi sasa. Vilevile oil filters kwa gari aina ya Toyota na vilevile Subaru. Ili upokee popote ulipo, piga simu kupitia nambari 0739318606. Mteja mpendwa, ni wakati sasa wa kujinyakulia aina ya flash disk kuanzia 8GB, 16GB na vilevile 32GB. Vilevile earphones, wireless headsets, unajipatia wireless microphones tofauti kwa bei nafuu. Yale ambayo unafaa kuyafanya hivi sasa ni kwamba unapiga simu kupitia nambari 0739318606. Yote unayapata kwa bei nafuu popote ulipo.
Naam, ni wakati wa kusikiza sauti inayobeba maono, busara na hali halisi ya kisiasa humu nchini. Karibu katika kipindi Sauti ya Uongozi. Hapa tutakuwa tunazungumza na viongozi kujieleza katika hali halisi ya yale ambayo waliahidi kuyafanya, na bila shaka kukupa wewe mtazamaji nafasi ya kuzungumza kama mwananchi wa kawaida kwa yale ambayo waliahidi kuyafanya katika maendeleo humu nchini.
But after making the payment, they delete it. Now, what kind of accounting is that? Because you are supposed to maintain the details of whoever you paid so that the figures can balance.
Watu ambao wanafanyiwa sio kwamba ni wale wananchi wote ambao wako pale wanafanyiwa ile funding. Ni makundi haswa. Na zile pesa kufika katika makundi ikamfikia mwananchi yule ambaye alikuwa anachangiwa akapata kiasi kidogo cha pesa. Ina maana kule kuzurula, ule msururu wa kuzunguka inakuwa ni kama ni null and void kwa mwananchi, anaiona kwamba analagaiwa.
If you graduated in 2016 and somebody graduated in 2020, the 2016 was to be given priority to get that job. But nowadays, members of parliament have taken over. They get the letters, they dish them in funerals, others they sell them to the highest bidder.
Kila wiki tutakuletea mahojiano ya kina na viongozi kutoka sekta mbalimbali na jamii kwa ujumla. Je, unajiuliza maswali ni kipi ambacho kinajiri nyuma ya pasia la uongozi? Basi hapa ndipo unapaswa kukaa mkao wa kutazama na kusikiza. Usikose Sauti ya Uongozi kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1 jioni hadi saa 3 jioni ndani ya Ndizi TV Africa, nami Jeff Nyakundi. Sauti ya Uongozi, tunazungumza, tunajenga, tunabadilika.
Inside each one of us, there is a dream. The challenge is how to achieve it. This journey will take inspiration, constant motivation, proper supervision, and strong connections. At Camel Park Training College, we know what makes your dreams come true. Now, all we need to begin in this journey is you. Enroll today in a variety of courses. Choose Camel Park Training College.
Steer your future in the right direction. Safe driving starts here. Camel Park Driving School, now ready to quench your driving thirst. We offer NTSA certified driving lessons for upgrading, beginners, and refreshers. Our team of qualified instructors deliver content for the following classes: A1, A2, B1, B2, C, C1 and C2, D1 and the rest. We train learners with modern vehicles which fit the evolving digital world. Why choose Camel Park Driving School? We are situated within a serene environment which offers a humble space of study. Our classes are fitted with advanced materials which supports learning. Other benefits are flexible class schedule, pocket-friendly fees, proper theory and practical guide, annual operation and additional computer packages training. Spend less, learn more, drive forever. Apply now. For more information, call us on or SMS us on 0755 386 594 or 0753 915 354, or you can email us on camelcollege@gmail.com, or also you can visit our offices at Kiogoro, which is 5 kilometers from Kisii town along Kisii-Kilgoris Road. Camel Park Driving School, shaping dreams on the wheels.
Je, wewe ni mmiliki wa aina ya gari aina ya Alto, Probox, Harrier, V8 na Lexus? Jipatie brake pads kwa bei nafuu hivi sasa. Vilevile oil filters kwa gari aina ya Toyota na vilevile Subaru. Ili upokee popote ulipo, piga simu kupitia nambari 0739318606. Mteja mpendwa, ni wakati sasa wa kujinyakulia aina ya flash disk kuanzia 8GB, 16GB na vilevile 32GB. Vilevile earphones, wireless headsets, unajipatia wireless microphones tofauti kwa bei nafuu. Yale ambayo unafaa kuyafanya hivi sasa ni kwamba unapiga simu kupitia nambari 0739318606. Yote unayapata kwa bei nafuu popote ulipo.
Naam, ni wakati wa kusikiza sauti inayobeba maono, busara na hali halisi ya kisiasa humu nchini. Karibu katika kipindi Sauti ya Uongozi. Hapa tutakuwa tunazungumza na viongozi kujieleza katika hali halisi ya yale ambayo waliahidi kuyafanya, na bila shaka kukupa wewe mtazamaji nafasi ya kuzungumza kama mwananchi wa kawaida kwa yale ambayo waliahidi kuyafanya katika maendeleo humu nchini.
But after making the payment, they delete it. Now, what kind of accounting is that? Because you are supposed to maintain the details of whoever you paid so that the figures can balance.
Watu ambao wanafanyiwa sio kwamba ni wale wananchi wote ambao wako pale wanafanyiwa ile funding, ni makundi haswa. na zile pesa kufika katika makundi ikamfikia mwananchi yule ambaye alikuwa anachangiwa akapata kiasi kidogo cha pesa, ina maana kule kuzurula, ule msururu wa kuzunguka inakuwa ni kama ni null and void kwa mwananchi, anaiona kwamba analagaiwa.
If you graduated in 2016 and somebody graduated in 2020, the 2016 was to be given priority to get that job. But nowadays, members of parliament have taken over. They get the letters, they dish them in funerals, others they sell them to the highest bidder.
Kila wiki tutakuletea mahojiano ya kina na viongozi kutoka sekta mbalimbali na jamii kwa ujumla. Je, unajiuliza maswali ni kipi ambacho kinajiri nyuma ya pasia la uongozi? Basi hapa ndipo unapaswa kukaa mkao wa kutazama na kusikiza. Usikose Sauti ya Uongozi kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1 jioni hadi saa 3 jioni ndani ya Ndizi TV Africa, nami Jeff Nyakundi. Sauti ya Uongozi, tunazungumza, tunajenga, tunabadilika.
Inside each one of us, there is a dream. The challenge is how to achieve it. This journey will take inspiration, constant motivation, proper supervision, and strong connections. At Camel Park Training College, we know what makes your dreams come true. Now, all we need to begin in this journey is you. Enroll today in a variety of courses. Choose Camel Park Training College.
Steer your future in the right direction. Safe driving starts here. Camel Park Driving School, now ready to quench your driving thirst. We offer NTSA certified driving lessons for upgrading, beginners, and refreshers. Our team of qualified instructors deliver content for the following classes: A1, A2, B1, B2, C, C1 and C2, D1 and the rest. We train learners with modern vehicles which fit the evolving digital world. Why choose Camel Park Driving School? We are situated within a serene environment which offers a humble space of study. Our classes are fitted with advanced materials which supports learning. Other benefits are flexible class schedule, pocket-friendly fees, proper theory and practical guide, annual operation and additional computer packages training. Spend less, learn more. Drive forever. Apply now. For more information, call us on or SMS us on 0755 386 594 or 0753 915 354, or you can email us on camelcollege@gmail.com, or also you can visit our offices at Kiogoro, which is 5 kilometers from Kisii town along Kisii-Kirigos Road. Camel Park Driving School, shaping dreams on the wheels.
All right, welcome again back to our morning bus show here at Ndizi TV Africa. Of course, it is 25 minutes past 8 a.m. and we are moving on swiftly to be informing you on what is trending. And of course, earlier on, we can be able to start from our region here, what has been happening, and of course, what is trending. Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga says that they have no regrets about joining Ruto's government. We are seeing results. That is what he mentioned. She mentioned in one of the meetings that she was attending yesterday. And I would like us to have a look at and listen to what Governor Gladys Wanga mentioned. Of course, there's some two statements he made. I'm giving you one now, and of course, another one will be coming later on as we move on. But let's first hear what she mentioned, saying that there is no regret when they joined forces to be supporting the current regime, that is President William Samoei Ruto's government. And of course, they have seen results. Let's hear what is this result that Gladys Wanga is mentioning out.
We have no regret for being in the broad-based government because our partnership and friendship with His Excellency William Ruto, together with our Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, has shown us results here. Here in Suba North, Rusinga Ring Road has been a story. But today when you go to Rusinga Ring Road, we have tarmac all around Rusinga Ring Road, courtesy of this broad-based government. Today we are looking at a ferry being constructed in Kisumu at a cost of over 900 million for purposes of plying Lake Victoria, something that had never been done. That is for Suba North. If you go to Homa Bay Town, a lot has happened under this partnership of the broad-based government in terms of real development for the mwananchi on the ground. Sasa wale watu ambao wanasema yao, waseme tu yao. Lakini sisi kama chama, sisi kama watu wa eneo hii, tunajua kwa nini tuko ndani ya broad-based government na kwa nini tunasonga na hiyo.
That is Governor Gladys Wanga, who was speaking during an event that she attended yesterday, and of course saying that there is a lot that they have seen, or the result that they have seen from the current regime. Elsewhere is that the Suba South Member of Parliament, Carol Omondi, accuses political motives behind the removal behind his removal as the chair of the Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee, CIOC, asserting that the move aims to obstruct his oversight of the upcoming, that is, oversight of the upcoming general elections to facilitate rigging. Let's hear when the heated debate was in Parliament, that is in the National Assembly, where he accused his removal is planning for the rigging of the general elections in coming 2027. Let's hear what he mentioned.
The power of the selection committee is to nominate members. I want to be shown the power of the selection committee under our standing orders to discharge me from a committee, because only article...
You've made that point already.
Yes, but I want it. I want a ruling from you. I want to encourage you to retire, not make and research and give us a ruling on these matters. It is for the benefit of the members, because members have been mistreated in this house, where political differences are brought into this house. They don't want me to chair CIOC because I'm going to oversight general elections. They want to rig the elections. That's why they don't want me in CIOC. And order. That is the reason. That is the reason. Order. Because I'm chairing CIOC.
All right, on the same story, actually, on the removal of that is the member of Parliament of Suba, that is Carol Omondi. There's a lot of, not only him, actually, that is something that has been done. If I can be able to give you the updates about some of the members of Parliament who have been removed from their current committees that they have been serving, is that the broad-based government purge as members of Parliament, Carol Omondi, Anthony Kibagendi, and others kicked out of key House committees. If we start, some of the list here, I can just be able to mention a few, is that the Committee of Members of Service and Facilities, Honorable Teresia Wanjiru Mwangi replaces Honorable Gathoni Wamushomba. Constitution Implementation Oversight Committee, Honorable Karoro Mondi dropped from committee as the chair, and Honorable Kamket Kasait, who previously held the vice chair seat, now takes over as the chair. Honorable Teresia Mwangi and Honorable Patrick Osero replaced with Honorable Gathoni Wamushomba and Honorable Jaldesa Guyo. Also, a committee on delegates registration, Honorable Mondi Moses Okoth replaces Tindi Mwale. Committee of on Implementation, Honorable Njeru Leo Wamtende to replace Honorable Kasiwai Rea Chipkemboi. Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities, Honorable Ndakwa, Honorable Ndakwa, and of course David Athman to replace the late Honorable Denal and Joseph Hamisi. Honorable Koimburi George Ndungu to replace Honorable Cherure Liza Chipkuril. Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library, Honorable Ruto Julius Kipleting to replace Honorable Toroitich Timothy Kipchumba. Honorable Mwangi Geoffrey Wandeto to replace Honorable Koimburi George Ndungu. Honorable Kombe Harrison, Honorable Kombe Harrison Garama to replace Honorable Wanjala Raphael. Public Petitions Committee, Honorable Biego Paul Kibichi to replace the late Honorable Tubi Bidu Mohammed. And of course, as we move on, a Committee on Regional Integration, Honorable Toroitich, Honorable Timothy Kipchumba, and of course to replace the Honorable Ruto Julius Kipleting. And of course, Honorable Koimburi George Ndungu to replace Honorable Murembo Irene Njoki. And those are some of the changes that were made yesterday. And of course, we saw Department of Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining, Honorable Njeru Leo Wamtende to replace the late Honorable Tubi Bidu Mohammed. Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, Honorable Toroitich Timothy Kipchumba to replace the Honorable Karemba Eliki Muchangi. And of course, Honorable Kipchumba Harold Kimuge to replace Honorable Syed Amin Udog. And of course, Departmental Committee on Regional Development, Honorable Hassan Ahmed Maalim to replace Honorable Umur Ker Kasim Sheikh. And of course, lastly is just to mention a few, is that the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture, Honorable Ndakwa David Athman to replace the late Honorable Demari Joseph Amisi, and of course Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife, Honorable Kasiwai Rachel Chepkemoi to replace Honorable Sangaire Lea Sopiato. Those are some of the changes that were made on Parliament yesterday. And of course, if you are very keen on looking at how they did it, is that some of these members of Parliament who are seen to be running in one term, let me just use that, then they got kicked out, and those who are running in two term, they got to be replaced. Remember, Honorable Wamushomba once left to DCP party, but later on get back to UDA, and of course she reinstated her committee seat in the National Assembly. Elsewhere is that Senator Aaron Cheruiyot criticizes Fred Okengo Matiang'i, doctor, over the claims that opposition votes cannot be stolen, saying his time at the Education Ministry is not evident enough, accuses him of grabbing public land. Let's hear what Aaron Cheruiyot mentioned while in Parliament, that is yesterday. Senator Aaron Cheruiyot.
To lead them, Madam Speaker. This business of drumming up, beating drums of war every now and then, oh, you'll not steal our vote. Which vote? If you believe you have sufficient vote, Madam Speaker, you go out and seek. You know, I saw a gentleman last week on Sunday bragging before the country that, oh, you know, I took care of examination and nobody stole exams. Yet is a gentleman who one is inducted by a committee of this house, that the only record they left at the Ministry of Education is that they stole public land belonging to a primary school in Ruaraka, Madam Speaker. And they want to lecture us about electoral integrity, that they will guard the votes. There is nothing, no business we in the political class have with regards to guarding of election, Madam Speaker. We need to surrender ourselves to the authority of the IEBC and trust them that they are an independent constitutional commission, that the minute they have set out their responsibility and they have done it in a fair and transparent manner, Madam Speaker, we accept the results. In fact, Madam Speaker, I dare say that given the conduct of politicians in this country, Madam Speaker, part of the electoral code of conduct that IEBC gives us to commit ourselves to before subjecting ourselves to any election, Madam Speaker, must include acceptance of results, Madam Speaker, if we want to be a country that is progressive. Otherwise, we will end up being in a country that is pumping billions upon billions of shillings every other election cycle just to satisfy the ego of people who cannot win elections, Madam Speaker.
Right, that's a statement made by Aaron Cheruiyot yesterday at the Senate Parliament. Elsewhere, getting to see, and of course, what happened yesterday in Gusiland, that is the United Opposition leaders, when they were engaging the residents at Suneka, that is in Kisii County, and of course, later on, we'll be able to see what happened in Marani, that is Kitutu Chachenoth, and Kitutu Chachenoth, that is where Chafeth Nyakundi, the UDA party secretary, actually treasurer, the UDA treasurer comes from. But before we get to Marani, let's first of all have a look at what happened in Suneka, that is in Kisii County, when the United Opposition leaders were engaging the residents during their second day in touring Gusiland.
Tushikane pamoja kama timu ya opposition, tuende mbele, tung'oe serikali, tung'oe hii serikali. Nionyesheni nione. Harambee! 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 Asanteni Suneka.
Away from the rally or the engagement with the Gusii residents, we'll be getting back there later on. But to take you over the borders, that is to Uganda, the update about Dr. Kizza Besigye, who attended yesterday's court hearing in person despite reported health concerns, as his treason trial resumes at Uganda's High Court. The case was adjourned to March 12, 2026, that is next month. First of all, let's have to see and of course hear what was going on there, and of course Martha Karua, who is also one of the United Opposition principals, was there on behalf of, actually as the lawyer to represent Kizza Besigye. Let's first of all see and hear what happened in that region.
That very good 22nd, 21st when we were here, my lord, they visited the proceedings of the case. We indicated to court on that day, 21st, that the TIA provides for a notice of 14 days. 14 days before one takes a plea. And even when you go to court, my lord, you know this is not court. That notice with all due respect to God, was selfless. That everything is being done on that day 21st. And these calls have been made so that we come here for confessing to it. Now we are getting the shock of our life that we are not ready to make a full disclosure. My Lord, why we are raising this matter? I want to conclude. Why we are raising this matter? We are our inadvertence on the part of the prosecution.
Also, let's get back to the country and now back to the Senate Parliament, where the Senate Public Accounts Committee postponed yesterday's, that is Governor Amos Nyaribo, that is Nyamira Governor Amos Nyaribo, sitting after the governor pleaded to seek medical attention. And something that got the chair of that committee to be asking, where exactly are you feeling unwell? If and if it gives or give an example, saying that if it was a child, then you were to ask the child, where are you feeling the pain? If it is the head, the child will be pointing on the head, and if it's the stomach, of course, the child will be pointing on the stomach. And of course, let's see here what transpired, and of course that made the committee to seek or to give the governor for Nyamira Amos Nyaribo time to go and seek medical attention. Later on, he will be returning back to the committee to explain or give more clarity on how he has used the county money. Let's have a look at what happened in the Senate building, that is under the Senate Public Accounts Committee that postponed Amos Nyaribo's sitting yesterday.
Of health reasons, I request we get a new date.
Are they documented circumstances, or this is a sudden occurrence?
This is a sudden occurrence, Chair.
Now, honorable members, this is a very, very, I would say, complicated matter, because when someone raises that, it's very difficult to interrogate. It's very difficult to know. If it was a child, you tell them, show me where the pain is. Maybe the pain is in the head or in the stomach. But I think
all right, that is from the Senate Committee for the Public Accounts Committee for Senate. Let's get back to now Gusiland, where giving you the updates on what was going on yesterday in Marani sub-county, that is Kitutu Chache North. And as I already mentioned, that Kitutu Chache North is led by the Member of Parliament, that is Chafeth Nyakundi, who was elected under the UDA party ticket. And of course, there is what the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua mentioned while in Marani, Kisii County, where he called out Governor Simba Arati, saying that he is a one-term governor. And of course, this is something that are seen happening in this region, and of course during this tour of a 3-day tour for the United Opposition in the region. Let's first of all hear what Rigiji mentioned during the Marani tour, Mwaso, when he was saying that the current governor for Kisii County, Paul Simba Arati, he is a one-term governor.
Si ni mtu ya Kasongo? Si huyu Arati ni mtu ya Kasongo? Sasa wewe Arati unasema mimi nisikuja Kisii, hapa ni kwa mama yako? Wewe unasema nisikuja Kisii ukiwa nani? Jana Wabagusi wameamua, kiongozi wa jamii ya Wabagusi na msemaji pekee kwa niaba ya jamii ya Wamugusi ni Dr. Fred Okengo. Sasa kama Fred Matiang'i amenialika Kisii, mimi nahitaji ruhusa ya Arati. Ati Arati aliambiwa na Kasongo ati Rigiji asikuja Kisii, atawaambia mambo ya ukweli. Rigiji amefika hajafika? Sasa wewe Arati nimefika hapa, utadu. Sasa wewe wewe Arati kwenda rudisha pesa ya Kasongo. Jana Huyu Arati amepewa pesa, akatafuta vijana Keroka na Kisii.
All right, getting back from the tour of the United Opposition, and of course getting back to Homa Bay, to what Governor Gladys Wanga also mentioned, that ODM will not crumple despite ideological differences among us, and the likes of Babu and Sifuna. Talking about the ideologies in ODM, that I mentioned that there is a possibility of them having an agreement, and of course those who have been seen to be leaving the ground or leaving the party will be getting back. Remember, in one of the newspapers this morning, that is Taifa Leo, was mentioning that now Edwin Sifuna has hinted that he might be leaving the party to join other like-minded groups, that is other parties or principles, more so the United Opposition, to ensure that they unseat President William Samoei Ruto. But what Gladys Wanga mentioned yesterday, it speaks otherwise from the party. But let's first of all hear what he mentioned, or what she mentioned yesterday about the ideologies. Of course, there's a difference of ideologies among them, including the likes of Babu and Sifuna. Let's first of all hear what Gladys Wanga said yesterday.
Kuna wale wanasema chama cha chungwa inasambaratika. Wacha niseme nikiwa hapa Nyakwere, Karachuonyo, boda ya Kisumu na Homa Bay, ya kwamba chama cha ODM kiko imara. Tuko na wabunge zaidi ya 100 katika chama chetu. Wabunge ambao wametoka nje ni 5. Wabunge zaidi ya 90 wako pamoja ndani ya chama. Tuko na governors 15 kama chama. Governor ambaye ametoka ni mmoja. Governor 14 wako nyuma ya chama ndani ya broad-based government na Dr. Buru Oginga. Kwa hivyo kusema ya kwamba chama imesambaratika, hatusemi ukweli, kwa sababu watu 5 juu ya 100, mtu mmoja juu ya 15, hao wanakaa wanafanya kazi yao pale. Tunawaelezea wakimaliza hiyo kazi wakuje, chama itakuwa imara hapa na itakuwa inasonga mbele. Na mwaka ujao chama cha chungwa ndio itakuwa serikali, ama itakuwa part of the coalition ambayo itakuwa ndani ya serikali. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
All right, getting back to Western Kenya, is that the regional police commander, Isa Mohamud, claims that Kenyans are tear gassing themselves at political rallies. This comes after the incident that happened in Malemba ground, that is in Kakamega County, where it said that the Edwin Sifuna brigade, that is Linda Mwananchi brigade, was tear gassed, and what was termed to be something that was done by the inner circle of their people there. And of course, there is one of our young people who came out and saying that they were hired, and that is the tear gas was both given to them, and of course they were given instructions on how to on how they were going to ensure that wameilipua katika mkutano, and of course saying that the plan was to just blow it at the podium where those leaders who were standing, that is when they were addressing the people, and of course by accident it was blown, that is in the midst of the people. Let's first of all hear what the Western Regional Police Commander Isa Mohamud claimed yesterday, or said yesterday.
People create their own scene and they want to fix the police, and we denied them that, because that's why we never went to that rally, and we were not notified. I say we were not notified properly, so that's why we did not go there, and all the officers were inside here. And somebody should tell me who the police officer who was there on the ground there. There's not one single police officer who was there in that rally. I repeat again, there was nobody. No police officer. So this is their own things, they do it. And that's what we wanted to find out. And now we have known. Now we have clearly seen. It is clearly known even by the public that police were not there. That's public knowledge. Sio siri. That's why wametengeneza scene yao. Sasa hawa ndio wanajua wenye kurusha, wenye, that's why they were comfortable with I don't know whether it was a tear gas or a smoke grenade, because we expected them to shed tears and they never shed tears because of the tear gas. Hakuna. So ni kama tu moshi tu. So hawa wajambazi ambaye those are equipments just for police, but it's unfortunate. It has happened elsewhere in the country. Elsewhere. The police did not throw this thing, but they are tear gas. People are lobbing tear gas. The same in Kakamega, it has happened also. So we are not responsible for that tear gas. The armed goons, they are the ones who wants to do chaos in this country. And that's why I'm calling for that restraint. During the events, a resident of Mbale town was allegedly stabbed by one individual. The matter was reported to police and investigations commenced. However, subsequently, the suspect was attacked by members of the public. That is the man who caused the stabbing. And he succumbed to the injuries. The public descended on that, and that incident of mob injustice was reported on by the OB 13 on 21st of 2nd at 16:05 hours. That mob injustice incident, it was reported. We wish to state clearly that the stabbing is a criminal offense, and that matter, the RCIO is handling that matter. And that mob injustice incident is equally a serious criminal offense, which led to the death of one, is also a criminal offense. And those who will be found culpable will be identified and prosecuted, because no one has the authority to take the law into their own hands.
Of course, we have heard what the police commander for Western Kenya mentioned there. Elsewhere is that Junet Mohammed has threatened ODM members of parliament who don't support two-term, says that they will be whipped from their elective committee membership as a disciplinary measure of disloyalty to the party leadership. Speaking yesterday in Parliament, and of course we have seen people criticizing the statement that he made yesterday, and of course others asking or mentioning that Parliament is not Chungwa House. This is something that is supposed to be discussed in Chungwa House with those members, not in the Parliament or not in the floor of a Parliament. Let's first of all hear what Junet Mohammed mentioned as we move on, and also continue having or informing you on what has been trending, and of course what has been going on more so in the political state of the country.
When I was a whip, Mr. Speaker, I used to be a very dangerous man. You remember last Parliament, Mr. Speaker? Those people who are joking around with the party, by now, ningenyoa bila maji. I'm serving a warning, Mr. Speaker, as the leader of minority on my side. Anyone who will not adhere to the party line, Mr. Speaker, you will end up relinquishing your committee seat to a lesser one, Mr. Speaker, so that you get to know that it is the party that rewards people to sit in committee.
Of course, that is Junet Mohammed giving a threat to the ODM members of parliament who are not loyal to the party leadership, as he has mentioned. And of course, as we move on, there is something that was published on the newspapers today, and of course, talking about the IEBC budget. That is more so when they were requesting, and of course there is amount that they were told that the 63 billion that they were given, actually the 64 or 63 billion they were given is enough for them to spend and prepare for the 2027 general elections. But here is that IEBC said to spend 64 billion for the 2027 general elections, and that including 6.2 billion that will be used to buy the KIMS kits replacement. Remember the one that were used on 2022, some of them have worn out, and some of them can never be used again. 5.9 billion for ballot printing, 1.1 billion for meals, 3 billion for transport, 4.9 billion for logistics, 1 billion for result transmission, 3.9 billion for system upgrade, 776 million for tent and sound system, 560 million for party primaries, 500 million for voter registration, for further register audit, and of course 305 million for bulk SMSs. And that is the budget that they have disclosed that is going to use. And of course they are requesting to use 64 billion for the 2027 general elections. And of course elsewhere, the other trending story is that only 7 million Kenyans are paying taxes in Kenya out of the 22 million registered taxpayers, according to the new report. A huge chunk of 22 million PIN holders are individuals or small business in the informal sector who may file nil returns or remain inactive. And of course, KRA is currently on a mission to expand this space from 7 million to 11.5 million active taxpayers by June 2027, and of course to meet the revenue targets of 2.968 trillion as the 2025-2026 financial year. And of course, something that we mentioned earlier on, and of course it was on the newspaper, talking about the new report that has emerged showing that the land around state houses and lodges has been grabbed by unknown parties, slowing the renovations in the area or in those state lodges. And of course, according to the State House Comptroller Kato Olemitito, saying that the recovery is underway. Remember, each and every financial year, there is a budget of revamping and of course doing renovation to the state houses and of course the state lodges in the country, saying now that some of these lands in the where the state lodges are located, some of those lands have been grabbed by unknown parties, and of course the recovery is underway. And as we move on, it is 56 minutes past 8 a.m. here at East African time. And of course, I would like to wind up there. But before I do that, I need to go through the SMSs that you have sent, and of course, the comments on our social media platforms. What I can be able to say is that Charles Luanga saying that Mwalimu Charles Luanga from Nyamira County, Kenyere basement area, where he represented with wife Jacqueline Kwamboka, that is saying that it's Queen's Wednesday, saying that they are tuned in with Weldon Nyaore, Sylvia Mora, Lavi Kwamboka, Jacqueline Kwamboka, and of course Rafael Misuko. I can be able to see also Sheila Kemunto from Emonga Kiamokama, saying that she is tuned in. Thank you so much, Sheila Kemunto, for tuning in this morning, and thank you for watching Indizi TV Africa. Elsewhere is that actually what you need to know, most schools, they have gone for a half term, and of course since Monday, yesterday, and of course today, students are heading or are coming home for the holiday. Remember, they're coming home for only a week or some, let's say 5 days. After that, they will be getting back, and of course ensure as a parent you are having time. We know that mambo si mazuri sana, kidogo muda hupatikani, lakini wewe kama mzazi tenga muda wako na watoto wako nyumbani. Have a conversation. Try to know how has been school. So for those who joined grade 10, try to know how they are doing. And of course, those who are in Form 4, the class of 2026, try to know how they are faring on, what they are doing, how the school is generally. And of course, try to understand what your child is up to. It's good to have such conversations with your kids, be either your mother, your father. Have a conversation regardless of the gender of your kid. Ensure that you sit down, have the conversation. The current regime or the current world we are in, things just change in time. Ensure that you are taking time with your kids. Talk to them, and as they will be preparing to get back to school next week, that is starting from half term, ensure that everything is done. If you are supposed to pay school fees, then ensure that you have done your part, and of course the teachers and the learner will do their part. That is where I part of, and of course I will be leaving you with the presser that was done yesterday or by the United Opposition, and of course today, as I mentioned earlier, that the route that we we know they will be having today is they'll be starting from that is Ogembo town, then to Kenyenya. From Kenyenya, they will be getting to Nyamache. From Nyamache, they will heading to Masimba. That is as per schedule, or as per the schedule that they have given out. The way they have planned their day here and there, trying to confirm if there is another place that they will be having a stopover. But the ones that have been mentioned here, those are the areas that they will be having their stopovers as they move to the as they go on doing their tour, the 3-day tour. And of course it is ending today on Wednesday, that is the 25th of February 2026. I will be, as I mentioned earlier, that it will be from Ogembo through to Kenyenya, from Kenyenya Nyamache, from Nyamache they will be heading to Masimba. Maybe, we don't know whether there will be other stopovers, but for today that is what we know, and that is the route that has been given out. Maybe for those who are their supporters will be turning out in large numbers to welcome them as they are going to have, or as they are going to engage with the common mwananchi. And of course this group is led by Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, who is the deputy party leader for Jubilee Party. And there is a lot that they mentioned yesterday, but that's what I'm leaving you with, for you to be listening to what these principles mentioned. So Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, and of course Peter Munya, not forgetting Kalonzo Musyoka. Bye-bye for now. That's where I wrap it up after getting that presser that they did yesterday. Then that is where we'll be wrapping it up. See you again tomorrow morning as we engage more and of course try to see what is going on. My name is Jeff Nyakundi. My director has been Lucas Ouma. Have a lovely day ahead and a productive one. Bye-bye. This is Ndizi TV Africa. Continue following it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, our good friends from the media. First of all, thank you so much for waiting this morning. We are sorry we are slightly late. We had to have some meetings and consultations before we start our day. I would like to also thank you for the wonderful work you have continued to do, and communicating what we are doing here as we are moving around, especially the meetings that we have had in this part of our country. And we continue to engage. We are going to be out for the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, to meet with members of the public and engage the public on a number of issues which my colleagues are going to speak about. Secondly, I want to sincerely thank my colleagues in the United Alternative Government for finding time to be here, and let me take this opportunity to convey the sincere apologies of our colleague, the Honorable Martha Karua. You know, she's on the Kizza-based case. She's in Uganda because of that matter, but she will join us. She's coming back today. There's an event around that. We hope that by God's grace she'll be able to join us later today as we go to the second leg and third leg of this meeting. Thirdly, I want to sincerely thank the leaders of the Gusii region, the ones who have been here. We have had a strong team and technical committee, first of all, coordinated by the Honorable Janet Ongera, and a huge number of leaders across the board who have planned and worked with us jointly together with our colleagues in the United Alternative Government to stage this tour and this visit. And we are very grateful for the work that you've done and you continue to do. Together with the aspirants and the others who have been involved in this, we want to tell our grassroots leaders that we are totally together. We hear them and we'll continue to work with them as we engage with our people. I want to say thank you to our elected leaders, our two senators, the Senator of Nyamira, the Honorable Kongo Mogeni, the Senator of Kisii, the Honorable Richard Onyonka, who have been essentially the co-hosts of this tour as we have been moving around and the work that they have done. Together with the elected members of parliament and their colleagues, because you see, we have a lot of elected leaders from the rest of the country who have had time to be here You saw yesterday the senators who are here. Senator Matthew is here today, and a number of others, honorable members of parliament whom we are going to introduce. You'll see them, see Honorable Jenny Kiara here and the others. We are very grateful that you have found time to be with us as we moved around and as we are engaging the people of this part of our country. I'm grateful to the party leaders. All our parties are in the United Alternative Government. We have national officials of the DCP, we have national officials of Jubilee, we have national officials of WIPA, national officials of PLP, and we have national officials of PNU and many other parties that are here, the party leaders of PDP and the party leaders of Kenya Social Congress. We have national officials of DP, who are, and then DAPK, sorry, who are here. I'm sorry, Mheshimiwa, I forgot. We have had national officials of DAPK who are here, who have been with us. The party leader is here, and Honorable Natembeya himself was also part of us yesterday. Finally, I need to say before we start off today's press event that Governor George Natembeya, who was with us yesterday, is out on a function he needed to have, and he will join us as soon as he finishes the function in Trans Nzoia. So welcome everyone to this press conference by the leaders of the United Alternative Government. We wanted to highlight a number of issues that we think are important for the country to know. So I will start off by saying this. We are here because we want to interact with Kenyans and wananchi of this part of the country, and also to give hope and assurance to our people, both here and at large in the nation, that we are determined and ready to work together to bring about the necessary change to our country. In doing so, we don't have personal grudges with people. We are basically doing what we have to do. We chose democracy as a people, multi-party democracy. What that means is that everyone has an opportunity to engage, and everyone has an opportunity to participate and persuade people along political lines. It is very sad, some of the things that we are seeing here, where people want to use violence as a means of political intimidation. My colleagues are going to again talk about that in some level of detail, but we have to condemn this. This is lower than primitive. 6 decades after independence, we cannot lose lives because to help certain people survive in their political offices as it is. We need every life. One life is one life too many. Let's ask our leaders. Political differences are fine. We don't have to agree all the time. And when we do not agree, let us execute them with a measure of decency. We don't have to kill people. We don't have to send people and so on. Some of the people that I'm told were involved in this are even young people who have been hired and recruited from even outside of Kisii and Nyamira, and then they have been brought in for this particular purpose. How can you turn against your own people? Because I don't understand. I find it difficult to call these people leaders. How can you turn against your own people? How would you want to kill your own people? And there's no crime they have done except that they have expressed a different opinion from yours. So we want to ask our brothers and sisters in leadership, let's be decent people. Let's get some work done. Let's have a conversation, and let us allow our Wananchi to make a decision on how they want to go. We are confident and we are sure about the things we are saying because we understand this country very well. There is near unanimity in this country, as you saw yesterday, all the way from Narok, Bomet, and all the way. There is near unanimity in this country. Our colleagues in the administration have not performed. They have not delivered on their promises, and it's time for them to do a decent thing. And the decent thing is to prepare themselves to go through a democratic process that replaces them so that the Kenya can have a government that they can work with and they can respect. And in saying so, we are not committing crime. We are citizens of this country who love our country. We want our country to succeed, and we want our country to succeed and operate in a frame of efficiency and decency in the manner in which we go forward. So we urge all our leaders, even those who do not agree with us, that is fine. Persuade people. Yesterday when we were in Keroka, and this is the last contextual thing I'm going to say, I said this, that you can actually, even come here and live here. If you wanted to live amongst us, we are very welcoming. You can come and live here. And if I may say something small for the local vernacular stations, na bwato busibole gocha agoro bole moiga gache nyomba ga ara rororo amenyo ara gerega akira lituko aronyore getande sakorara era tare ga jijiru chita kwana bantu baito nyagatagite. That is it. Egekugara onde tayo togokani no na bantu ba UDA kumoranye nyemutagete gocha komenya gusi inu nchimomenyega numugambe na bantu baito ngora lakini mubaza guita bantu baito guita bantu baito here is not acceptable. Na kumukia bana ba bantu obatumenga bachiko salime sangikano ya bantu elinde bachiko itwororo ekine ngento tanyali guitabera na asini nenda bantu baito bagusi ndo tagitigenteke nende buno to kwanesa balaina bantu bande ayana mangana mabeto tata to deal with tikatole meranie tokole siasa no boronge no buya na maskani buno toko gendera kuchibosio nechikora na bantu babwate tali umuntu obwate to kwana na bantu abangora na maskani and then to gendera kuchibosio lakini go chiko salime sangikano ya bantu nende tigante bya bana ba minto bali na bantu abakugamba tata ngainia ngainia tumiyo bongo bwa ngainia engi ye ajite katenali kabwati sanduku kujiembera imekabekera nguno mora maraba tako tenene sebendore serikali enoroche serochi tako ngainia. That's what I'm telling you. Ngainia aya bantu bakotomochi kotoma bantu baminto chekuita bantu baino abumbali bantu bengenjo inje message yane sabana abaminto na ina bana baminto na inde to banjete titoliko barama na keko erande moko randa liko ramonde iko to banjete na bana baminto bale to ko basikeze gazi bakora na bombaka bwati zababu jabo jo kole binde bakora lakini ingo basarora kamuranje ngainia ya tule karuo ya oso no tali boygo na bere go ya tule karuo ya saba sizeni na inda bantu baminto bagusi nkwana iga abasanga bagizangiye abana batari na abakire mbuya mono esa masikani mu atorokiri no bwanja niyo bonene abana abaminto murasobora ibonzi seneta n'abacumbe nabarimo kuriye birogo twanja nengenje kabireye togendiye kuziye itoiga nyasaye nabatagire tora abantu bayitengenje kabiri ngamneye no morembe tali uko nakobeta nebitengenje na ine ndo basanya kora amaramana tokoro morembe tokora masikani tobeka baguziba itobonzi piamo nende nkwane ngento kibo bizingi gojiganda me ozini nkwane rugelio ndata igwe egente tokolikia bagusito ikere ga ali esa abantu bande bale tonyore njira eso gokwanyira abantu baito tokolikia njira yo ikari tonyore njira yo gokwanyira abantu baito na abantu baito tokolera nekero tokolera abantu baito tokogenda isikolikia abantu baito tokolera abantu baito mobasa gocha koleta mangana yande ngainia ekurate yane nengaki abantu baminto karagendo kieke ngainia ezimo ko banyora tebya bana bali baminto baroronga kita tondane ngainia ya tule ngainia. So I think for that local Baneno, I now want to invite my colleagues, and I need to tell you that in our group as United Alternative Government we have two co-conveners. One is Honorable Martha Karua, who is traveling, and the other one is His Excellency the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, the WIPE leader and presidential candidate. And so you know, somebody has to take responsibility. Wale wengine tunakulia hapo sasa hapa ndio unajua sasa ndio mkubwa hadi akombere bunduki kitokea namna hiyo, lakini tunashukuru Mungu tumekuwa sisi wote pamoja na tunataka kwenda pamoja, so tutaongea one point our co-convener sasa ndio atatufungia and we will then take questions from there as the order of responsibility will go in this response. So let me start with my brother Peter Munya, the leader of PNU.
Dr. Matiangi, sisi katika United Opposition, we are not asking this government any favor. We are just asking for the observance of the rule of law. And that's not a favor, it's our constitution that guarantees that every citizen is protected under the law. We don't have any two sets of laws, one for the opposition and the other one for the government, so that every rally that opposition does, goons must be sent there, protected by the police to cause mayhem. That's all we are asking. Otherwise, it's our right to be in the opposition. It is their right to be in government. They were given the government. The citizens seem to be ready now to take back their right, their government, because it is theirs. That does not invite violence on us. So we are not asking any favor, you know. It's not like we are asking the minister or whoever, do us a favor. No. And we are saying, If the government is not ready to provide the security that we require in our meetings, we must also organize ourselves to be able to secure our meetings, isn't it? Yes. And ask the citizens to take that responsibility of making sure our meetings are safe, and anybody who is coming there to cause mayhem anapata cha mtema kuni, kwa sababu hatuwezi endelea namna hii. Kama wananchi wamekataa serikali, wameikataa, na wameikataa kwa sababu imeshindwa na kazi. Waliingia kwa serikali with the understanding that they are going to make Kenya better, but over the years, the years they have been there, it is total destruction. Everything that was working has been completely destroyed, and Kenyans cannot take this anymore. Kwa hivyo sisi tunasema tuheshimiane, wale wamepewa majukumu ya kulinda sheria na haki walinde, na sisi tukubaliwe kufanya kazi zetu za upinzani tukijipanga kuchukua serikali. Asanteni sana.
The Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, the leader of DAPK.
Asante sana our host Dr. Fred Matiang'i, viongozi wote wa Kisii, Nyamira na wananchi wote walio hapa, watu wa Kisii wa Kiroya, Mrembe. Sisi tuna furaha sana kuwa hapa siku ya leo, na haswa makaribisho ya jana. Tumeingia Kisii, tumeingia Nyamira na timu yetu ya United Alternative Government, na mapokezi yamekuwa mazuri sana tangu jana asubuhi kule Narok Town. Tulikaribishwa, tukaambia ndugu zetu tunakuja Kisii, kuingia kule Mulot, Bomet, Longisa, Chepilat. Imekuwa ni furaha kubwa kwa Wakenya wote kuona the incoming government, the alternative government, tukitembea pamoja, tukisimama pamoja. Lakini shukrani yetu kubwa ni kwa watu wa hapa Kisii, hapa Nyamira. Mimi nimekuwa hapa mara nyingi nikiwa na marehemu ndugu yangu Wamalwa kijana, kina Obocha, na tumekuwa hapa mzee Raila, tumerudi hapa na Uhuru. Hatujawahi ona makaribisho kama yale tumepewa wakati huu. So yetu ni kusema asante. Lakini vile vile we must equally condemn the attempted disruption of our meetings yesterday in Gusiland. Bwana William Ruto, all the way from Narok to Bomet to Longisa to Chepilat to Kisii. One message is clear: Kenyans have decided you are a one-term president. The desperation we are seeing, wewe kujaribu kutumia polisi, kutumia wahuni, no amount of tear gas, or bullets, or rogue police officers, or goons that you are hiring will save you from the verdict of the Kenyan people. And we want to say this, that our right to move to any part of this country, our right to assemble and to associate with any people of the Republic of Kenya anywhere, anytime we want, does not depend on your generosity. It is a constitutionally guaranteed right. And that is one thing we want to say as we leave Kisii tomorrow. We will go to Nakuru, we will go to Nyandarua, we will go to Nyeri and all parts of the country. Sasa, this attempt ya kusimamisha and to disrupt opposition rallies will not stop this train. So that is the one message we want to give, and to also ask our young people, sababu wao ndio wanapewa pesa. The goons that were used yesterday, some of them, and this is very regrettable that there was loss of life here in Kisii yesterday because of the goons who tried to stop a rally that was unstoppable. There was loss of life in Western when we had the Linda Wananchi rally. There was loss of life in Kitengela and other parts where we've gone for meetings. Let's ask the youth of Kenya to be part of this change. Why is it that the people of Kisii are saying one term? All the promises William Ruto made here, right from the dams. I was Minister for Water, Bunyonyo Dam, Magwagwa Dam, nothing has been done to complete these dams that will transform this region and ensure that the water issues, food production issues, food security issues are sorted out, have not been done. I was here with Dr. Fred Matiang'i, with the fourth President Uhuru Kenyatta. We came to lay the foundation stone for the cancer center. Since Uhuru left, we passed by, we saw a shell of a building. Nothing has been done by William Ruto and his government to complete the cancer center 4 years down the line. With the remaining few months, will William Ruto complete the cancer center? The people of Kisii know that you are not going to do it. So wanasema maliza ufanye nini? When? All that you promised. We were yesterday in Keroka. You promised you are going to do this road from Kisii town, which is very congested, into Keroka. Has it been done? No. Will it be done in the next few months? No. So this is why they were saying, maliza ufanye nini? When? So we want to say today that we will go to Nyamira and other parts to speak to the people of Kisii, and we're asking you, ndugu zetu, tuungane, tutembee pamoja. Jana umetupa kiongozi shupavu Dr. Fred Matiang'i, tunaomba nyote msimame nyuma yake, tushikane pamoja, bega kwa bega, tutembee pamoja, tumtoe huyu bwana Kasongo. Kisii kidogo abana banyasaye. Asanteni kutupa umugambo muya. Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Umugambo muya wakuleta ebikuri, wakuleta esibitari, kuleta maendeleo. Kino umugambo muya muno wakuleta omurembe. Na sisi tunataka tufanye siasa ya amani. Hata bwana Zakayo akijaribu kuleta vurugu, kumwaga damu ya Gen Z vijana wetu na kufanya yale maovu anayofanya, sisi tushikane bega kwa bega tumtoe. Asanteni, Mungu awabariki.
The Honorable, the Second Deputy President of the Republic, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua.
Thank you. I didn't know I'll speak here. No, I'm a bit shy with the cameras. We are indeed very happy for the very warm welcome, and the momentum that has started in the Gusii Nation is unstoppable. What I saw yesterday, I've been around for a while. I've participated in every succession. From 1992, from single-party state to multi-party democracy. I've been around all these successions, and I know the signs. I've never been on the losing side, never. So the side you see me on is the winning side. And the momentum of 2027 exceeds the 202 movement. This is a wave that is unstoppable. And when I say we are cousins, it's true because as Dr. Fred Matiang'i spoke in Kisii, I hear. I agree with you, my cousin. A fly has no brain. Inafuata jeneza, ikifika pale inaona mchanga utawekwa, inafanya nini? Sasa wale viongozi wa Kisii wanafuata na wanaenda kuzikwa, shauri yenu. Let me say that William Ruto has panicked, and the police are crying to us. 98% of members of the National Police Service don't agree that they should break the law. They believe their work is to maintain law and order, and they are feeling very intimidated when they are being forced to commit crimes when their work is to stop crimes. They are feeling very intimidated when they are being forced to work with the goons when they are supposed to work against the goons. They are telling us that CS Kipchumba Murkomen and PS Raymond Omolo is putting them under intense pressure to work with goons, to defend goons, and to allow goons to disrupt our meetings. I want to thank our police officers, who are very patriotic officers, and assure them that the darkest hour is just before dawn. There will be a new beginning next year. Please continue resisting pressure from Murkomen and Omolo to break the law. Yesterday, the police here in Gusiland were under a lot of pressure from Murkomen and Omolo to allow goons to disrupt our meetings, and the police are resisting. In Nakuru, the police are under a lot of pressure from CS Murkomen to work with the goons to disrupt our meetings on Friday and Saturday, and the police are saying no. I want to tell Murkomen and William Ruto, you don't have enough ammunition to kill 50 million Kenyans. I want to tell William Ruto, you came to power through a popular vote. Somehow along the line you seem to have changed your mind that you can get back to power through guns, bullets, tear gas and goons. It has never worked anywhere, not just in Africa but in the world. The more you disrupt our meetings, the more you kill people, the more you beat elected leaders, the more popular the movement becomes. And I don't know, William Ruto seems to have forgotten. When he was attacked at a church in Keno in early 2022, his politics took a different turn. And the people decided to elect him as president because they didn't want attacks in a house of worship. But after getting to State House, he seems to have forgotten that police action cannot sort out politics. So we want to say, Murkomen, please let the police do their work. We had an attack in ACK Wetima Church in Othaya. The file is ready. 12 officers have been identified with evidence, and CS Murkomen is refusing the police to hand over the file to DPP for them to be prosecuted. The only good thing is that the criminal activities have no time limit. That file is ready. Those officers must know that when a new president is sworn in, 10 hours after, they will be arrested and taken to court. Yeah? And I want to ask all our police officers across the country to know that we have put a team also to document police excesses. Where leaders are attacked by goons, with police participation, we are documenting on the county commander who is there, the OCSs who are there, the DCIO who is there, and we are keeping that record. And all of you will face the law. I want to appeal to the police officers. We are also fighting for their rights. They are also under intense pressure. Their insurance scheme has been buggered. They are crying like all other Kenyans. Their payslips have been raided. Among the people we are fighting for are our police officers. Please don't allow yourself to be misused and break the law, because when the time comes, you'll be on your own. Our officers must be guided by 4 documents as they perform their duties. The 2010 Constitution, number 2, the Penal Code, Cap 63, number 3, the Criminal Procedure Code, Cap 75, number 4, the Evidence Act, Cap 80. With those 4 documents, our police officers will be safe. But if you allow Murkomen to misuse you and Omolo, next year they'll be out of government. You'll be held accountable for the excesses of officers under you. And you'll be held accountable. And you'll be taken to court. And that is the truth. We have a very serious team now documenting all police excesses across the country. Anytime there is an incident, all the details of all the officers in that police station and their commanders, we are documenting that. And we are keeping that for that day. So please, our police officer, I understand. I know you are under a lot of pressure. Most of you have actually refused to succumb to pressure. The few who are succumbing to pressure, please don't. Be guided by those 4 documents in the discharge of your duties. Finally, as the Honorable Peter Munya has said, I have seen them trying to create AI images that he was meeting Ruto last night. Ruto is in Nairobi. Munya was here in Kisii. By the time we left the stadium, the picture was coming 5 minutes after. I don't know this Kasongo, what kind of movement he has.
Desperation.
Yeah, it's desperation.
Desperation.
You know, they are desperate people. You know, they are creating AI caricatures because they are unhappy that Peter Munya is here with us. And please don't fall to this propaganda, it will not help us. But as Honorable Peter Munya has said, if the police refuse to protect Wananchi, the country can easily slide into anarchy because people will defend themselves. It's in the law. Self-defense is allowed. And I think the rest of Kenyans have seen the people of Keroka and Kisii. They don't allow anybody to disrupt their meetings. So the rest of Kenya, now you have seen. You must go the Kisii way. You know, don't allow people, goons. If police don't want to do their work, the people have to defend their meetings because it's a constitutional right for people to hold meetings. So I ask the people of Nakuru to benchmark from the Gusii Nation and defend your meetings and don't allow crooks and goons sent by Murkomen and Ruto to disrupt law and order and peace that this country has enjoyed since independence. Thank you very much.
Finally, the Honorable His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
Thank you. Wow. Abantu bamintu mbiamuri. Tangu tuingie jana Kisii na kabla ya Kisii tukapitia Mulot kama vile ndugu Eugene ametangulia kusema. Mulot, Bomet, hata before Bomet, Longisa, after Bomet, Kaplong, hata Sotik walikuwa wanataka sana tusimame pale. But we realized time was running out, so we headed to Chepilate. And jana we had occasion to congratulate the Honorable Fred Matiang'i, our host, for the clear demonstration of leadership, and also the leadership bestowed on him by the Abagusi elders, Council of Elders led by Elder Matundura. Na tukaingia basi Keroka, na tukaona maajabu Keroka, tukaja vile vile Gusii Stadium. Tumefahamishwa kama tungefika kule saa 8, umati ungekuwa hata zaidi. Lakini njia moja ni kwamba wananchi walihisi kwamba wamevurugwa na wahuni ambao wanapatiwa kila blessing na viongozi ambao wanatarajiwa kujua vyema. Kwa hivyo tunawapongeza sana ndugu zetu wa Bagusi, community wa Bagusi hapa nyumbani and abroad. Hata asubuhi nimepigiwa na watu kutoka Sweden, wanasema karibuni sana Kisii. Professor Choti na wenzake Baltimore, wider Washington, wa Kisii walioko Minnesota, wote. In fact, I think there are more Kisiis out of Kisii and Nyamira than actually in the two counties. And they are all, the Kisii Nation, are feeling part and parcel of the entire Kenyan nation, the heartbeat of the nation. Tangu jana imekuwa hapa tuone vipi watu wanaweza kujimudu dhidi ya uchokozi mkubwa ambao unaelezwa na serikali ya Ruto akitumia waziri wake Murkomen na PS wake usalama Omolo. Na kwa hivyo tulieleza Bwana Kanja, mnakumbuka tarehe 30 Januari tulienda kwa ofisi ya inspector mkuu wa polisi Kanja, tukakubaliana turudi tarehe 16. Tuliporudi pale ndio tupate kuelezewa kinaganaga ni askari polisi kina gani ambao waliandamana na wahuni kuingilia kanisani Witima upande wa Thaya, lakini wakaruka, wakaepa. Sasa wanajaribu kila njia kuharibu mikutano ya upinzani. I want to say that it is regrettable that we have any loss of life. And I think, as Fred has said, one life lost is one too many. We want the security for our people. It is the responsibility of any government office to ensure peace and security of its citizens. But what you are witnessing with William Ruto administration is desperation. But you want to remind them that Kenya is a signatory member of the Rome Statute, the International Criminal Court. There was an attempt to get out of it, but of course Kenyans walikata. And the issue is very simple. Any officer or person in authority bearing the highest responsibility, I see my learned friend Kembe Kitura agree, is the one that will be held accountable even before the ICC. And as Rigathi has said, we are documenting every police action. And it is not a matter of trying to please ourselves. Yale amesema Rigathi ni wazi kwamba mwaka ujao Mungu atujalie. With this is the alternative, this is united alternative government. So don't think that Rigathi it's kind of wishful thinking. This is the reality. The reality as we speak this morning is the country is galvanized on one agenda, that William Ruto will serve one term, if indeed he is allowed to serve that one term. And the reasons are clear. He has accused us of having no agenda. Agenda item number one is to return this country to constitutional order, to observance of the rule of law under the supreme law of the land, Constitution 2010, which William Ruto and his officers seem geared towards dismembering. And of course we can. And this is why we proudly stand here in this beautiful Camel Park Hotel to tell Kenyans that we are on course, that nobody should threaten you, that you do not have the right to assemble peaceably, you do not have the right to picket, you do not have a right to hold public opinion. Indeed, we want to assure you that we are so focused that even on the IEBC itself, we went and met them, and the first action they did was to remove Marjan, I think that's it. Marjan. That was not enough. They replaced Marjan. That's a name. I have some difficulty pronouncing it. I think I remember Atun Margarian. They replaced him very quickly with an officer who was from the lower ranks because they think he will serve their purpose. We are saying that there must be proper advertisement for the next CEO of IEBC so that we will all, Kenyans will know if justice has been served in the appointment, in the recruitment appointment of the next CEO, which should be immediate because elections are next year. So it is not that Sunkuli is going to sit there. We have a lot of information of what Sunkuli did in 2022 wakati wa viparanga vya kompyuta na vitu kama hivyo. So that is one point. The other point is today we are going to talk to the country. Abagusi wameongea jana. They have given us our brother Fred Matiang'i tuunde serikali. And of course we are moving forward very strongly with our young people. We will not rest until justice is served on the cases, the 70 plus Kenyans who lost their lives because of the 2024 Gen Z revolt. We will never rest until we see justice being served on the 70 others or thereabouts who will suffer the similar fate in 2023, wakati hata baba alikuwa hai. We are nearly killed along with them. Na mnakumbuka in 2024 alisema baba kaa nyuma, hii kazi tutamaliza. And today, justice are not being served. There was even the so-called 10-point agenda that Raila and Uhuru, and Ruto had agreed on, which should be by the end of March, by this March, in the next 1 week. And nothing has happened. And even if they are to think of compensating the lives of those young people, how about the many business people who suffered great loss and Nairobi Central Business. Now again, the same goons walikuja wakatumiwa na police. So Kenya National Human Rights Commission, I think, is now properly seized with all of this. As a united alternative government, we are working with every human rights organization to make sure that justice is served. Hayo tutaongea tukienda mbele, na pia tutasema hatutaruhusu Ruto auze kila shirika la umma. Yesterday I was in court myself. We were there with Eugene Wamalwa when we stopped him when he was trying to sell off JKI and Ketraco. Akaondoa shingo upande. We have seen him announce that he's going to do another deal over JKI. It cannot work without proper constitutional approach on how you deal with these things. We know that Vodafone is a very reputable British organization, but they also know that if they are dealing with a rogue administration, which is trying to dispossess Kenyans of their birthright, the most profitable public company in Kenya is Safaricom and their M-Pesa applications. The amount of transactions that happen over M-Pesa hata inazidi yale ambayo yalikuwa yakifanyika na Western Union na Wakisii in the diaspora. So we are going to engage them at every step of the way. But the most important thing, we have come to demonstrate our unity of purpose, and we want to thank the Abagusi people. Nyasaye amulinde. Asante.
All right. We'll take one. Okay, gentlemen and ladies, we'll take one or two questions. And you will be gracious and kind. We are heading out to Nyamira, and you know it's a rainy season. You can feel the humidity, but let's go. Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes.
I'm Stanley Ongoi from Standard, and my question is: Kenyans are waiting for the unveiling of the opposition's flag bearer. How long will they be waiting? For how long will they be waiting? And another question is: the ODM renegade team led by Sifuna and his colleagues, what are you doing in terms of reaching out to them, because you mentioned it yesterday?
Okay, there are questions I would defer to my other colleagues to respond to if need be, but the question of naming of our flag bearer, I think the matter has been addressed several times. We are discussing amongst ourselves, we are building alliances, we are aligning ourselves. It is not going to be a secret affair. When that time comes, it will be known to you and to everybody because it's in the best interest of the country. So why would we want to spend our precious time of engaging with our people in Kisii here discussing about the candidate at this point in time? I think you are putting the cart before the horse. Let the horse move. Next is the question about, I wouldn't use the word renegade. I'm very cautious. I mean, I would not use the word renegade in describing people who are having an internal conversation or active fellowship within their party. But there are brothers and sisters, all of us here in this group respect other parties, including the ODM. And you know, our leaders, our two co-conveners, the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and the Honorable Martha Karua, have always said that we are open for business 24/7. We work with everybody and like-minded people who want this country to advance. And we will work with all like-minded people to ensure that our country advances. The business of this group is fixing our nation. That is our business. And those who want to fix the nation are our allies, definitely, wherever they are. Thank you. Next. Asante sana. Mimi nafikiri mumetosheka na sisi. Twende barabara sasa.